Everyone, and welcome to Mindset Mastery. My name is Suzanne Hart, and our topic tonight is let's go ziplining, they said. I love that topic. Let's go ziplining, they said. Quote from the person sitting right beside me. And it's really about facing your fear. This is going to be such a great live. So as you begin to join us, I see Taria has hopped on. Welcome, Taria. So as you come in, please let us know your name. Of course, we'll see that, where you're chiming in from, and what you do. Even if you're listening to the replay, please let us know where you're calling in from and what you do. The topic, as I said, is let's go ziplining, they said, facing your fear. All right? The other thing I'm going to ask you to do is bless a life. This topic is one that we all face. We all face fear, particularly in business, in life, whenever we step outside our comfort zone. So we are going to be unpacking that today. We're going to be using ziplining, truly, to do so. We're going to go back and visit a story from the retreat where a group of people went ziplining and something happened. Unexpected.
Something.
So as you join in, let us know, bless a life. And what I mean by bless a life is share to a page of somebody who you think needs this live, someone who might be dealing with the same thing. Share it in a group, share it on your page, but bless the life, share this message, because we want to touch many lives tonight. Okay, so as we get going, let me introduce to you my guest tonight. And I've been blessed. I had Brother Bedford last week, and that interview was off the charts. People are still asking, they're watching the replay, they're making sure they're asking for that. So if you missed that one, you got to go listen to it. But this one tonight, my girl, I'll tell you, I don't know if you're ready. So let me introduce the beautiful sister. First of all, she's one of my covenant sisters. So when I say sister, I truly mean that. Let me introduce the sister sitting beside me. This woman is a branding, marketing, and a web graphic design specialist. She is the founder of 2911 Media. She's also the founder of Lord 365. I love that, Lord 365. She has 30 years experience, 30 years plus experience in advertising, sales, and marketing. I'm going to say that again, advertising, sales, and marketing. You might want to hook up with this sister. She's an award-winning professional and has worked with companies like State Farm, Pepsi, Sam's Club, Procter & Gamble. And her mission is to help people market their truth by designing growth strategies to help them attract the people they were called to serve. She is a proud mother of one of my favorite young brothers, Mr. DJ. I had to mention him. And she, I think there's 3 of her, just so you know. So she can get lots of things done. What I love about this woman is her heart of service. Please welcome my sister, Dawn Jones.
Thank you. Thank you for such the kind words and the wonderful introductions. And yes, there's only one of me. So.
I don't know. I'm not so sure.
I don't think the world can handle all 3. I just don't think.
So first of all, thank you for joining us. And I am really excited for this topic. And I see Taylor Morgan joining. Hello, Taylor. Wonderful to see you. I'm really excited for this topic because, so we're going to joke a little bit about let's go ziplining, they said, but we're really talking about face your fear. So I'm going to put the context for everyone that's listening so you really get, even when you're listening to the replay, what we're talking about. So Dawn was one of the attendees at the Freedom Retreat. And at the Freedom Retreat, it really is all about wellness and mindset for entrepreneurs and business professionals, high producers. Now, these are the people that I call them the first to arrive, the last to leave, the get it done, the bottom liners. You can count on them, who tend to kind of neglect themselves at times. And so what I do is I put people through processes so they can see who they are in the world. They can see how they show up in the world. So one of the processes was to send a group of people ziplining, right? So when Dawn said, let's go ziplining, they said, she really said, I think it was kind of tongue in cheek, like kind of like in that moment when you're like, what the am I doing? Why am I doing this? I think that's how the post came out. And I just love the feedback that everybody did on the post. I said, this is going to be the title. But the purpose of it was to have everyone kind of be face to face with this thing called fear, and to determine whether fear is real or is it a conversation that lives in our head, and can we manage that conversation so we can get to the other side. So Dawn, the first thing I want to ask you is when you found out we were going ziplining, what was your thought?
Okay, let's be just very, 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 very real. The first thing I thought was, I am scared to death of heights, but I did not come to this beautiful country just to play it safe.
Okay, so, I love it.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it because I got people with me, and, you know, so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So that was the first thought, because I figured I'm just going to encounter and take everything in stride, because I know this will be something I've never done before. I mean, when I've seen people ziplining, I'm like, there's no way on this good earth that I'm doing it. But I also looked at it from an opportunity for growth and to experience something I've never experienced. So this is the kind of the year for that for me. It's just kind of, okay, let's try something new. Let's try something different. Let's step outside our comfort zone. And fortunately, I am surrounded by other Covenant sisters that are definitely pushing me outside my comfort zone on a daily basis. So I figured I'll just go ahead and go with it. So that was the first thought process.
You know what I love about this was that every single person had fears, but no one talked about it before we went. No one said, Suzanne, I'm afraid of heights. No one said, all of you kind of went, okay, we're going to do this.
Right.
Now,
I'm going to trust the process.
You're going to trust the process. Now, I got to tell everybody, for the first time in my retreat, Suzanne didn't go with the group.
So she left us all alone, people. There was a reason. There was a good reason, but
yeah. Well, you know what? I had tweaked my back, and I was being proactive, and I thought, you know what? These are strong leaders. They can do this on their own. And I'll talk about the process of being on the ground while they're being up in the air and getting the text, the phone call. So stay tuned. So afraid of heights. But you're thinking, I didn't go fly all the way to Panama, this beautiful location, to sit on the sideline. So you decide to face that, and you're ziplining. So you guys take off. You get picked up by the truck. Mm-hmm. They put on your gear. We all saw the pictures of you guys putting on your gear. Mm-hmm. And you get to those stairs. Talk about getting to the stairs and beginning the climb.
That first set was like, I'm really doing this. I can't believe I'm really doing this. What was I thinking? Honestly, I was like, okay, I could back out, but I'm no punk. So I'm just going to keep moving forward. But that whole first initial ascent, and then the first line was, I was like, it was self-talk, like, okay, you can do this. Okay, you can do this. I'm sure I've never heard anybody die on ziplining before. So I'm going to move through the process. And again, trust the process. I'm like, if nothing else, I got 3 other people here that are with me that, you know, have my back. So that was the first, when we're going up there, it was like, how did I let them talk me into this? How? But we made it.
Thank you so much for being so candid, because isn't that what happens? You know, we get excited about a venture in business. We get excited about something we're going to do, and we start the process. We start the climb, if you will. And then we realize, I don't know about this. No. and this is the difference between people who have success and people who don't. At that point, because some people would have said, oh, heck no. I'm looking up. These stairs are steep. I can't see the top. Some people would have said, yeah, I'm standing on the sidelines. So that was the first time you got past your fear. You stepped into it. So you're climbing and you do the first zip line.
I prayed through the false one. Because I was up there and I'm looking at them hooking everybody up. And there was 4 from our group. One came reluctantly. Very reluctantly, but she came, and so I'm glad for it. And then there was a mother and daughter that were from Panama City, and then our 2 guides. So they're hooking everybody up, and I think I was kind of I was the second one from our initial group to go, but I was like 1, 2, 3, 4. I was like the 4th person to go out of the 6, 7, 4, 2 out of the 6 of us. So I'd seen them hook everybody up, and when I tell you harnessed in, I felt about as safe as you can be when you're that suspended that far up in the sky.
I love it.
Because you're wrapped in, you can't move. I mean, and then they have this pulley that attaches, and then 2 other, what I learned were called D-rings. Thank you, Mr. Anthony Penn. And that was one of the people that went with this. And so that was on it. And so you're hooked up. There's no way for you to be able, you're there. And it's safe. And so that gave me a little bit of a basis of feeling a little safer. Like, okay, I'm harnessed in and I'm attached to this thing, and I've seen 3 other people go across, so I'm gonna be okay. Again, I prayed all the way across the top, and I don't think I breathed. No, I did not breathe. Because I was just like, oh gosh, because it's that I have always been deathly afraid of heights. Now, I'd like to go to the top of things. Like I was in Israel and went to the highest point of a Tower of Ascension, and that was like the highest point in Israel. And I'm looking around, I'm like, this is really beautiful, get me down. And then came back down 17 flights of stairs. But it's the things that you get when you get past your fear.
Absolutely.
You see and experience so much that it's worth challenging the fear that you're faced with.
And I'm going to break down so many things that you say. So you get up and you start assessing, and you're doing your risk assessment, right? And so many people don't actually get to that place. They get caught in the fear, right? They stop breathing, they start running ahead, and their mind is creating, the story of disaster. And they don't stop to do the risk assessment. And for all of us entrepreneurs, everyone watching, it is so key to do that risk assessment. So you're doing your risk assessment, and you're like, so you get to a point where you think, I'm pretty safe. Right? Now, this is the interesting thing. I know I've done that. I'm pretty safe. I don't know if I want to go. Right?
Yeah.
And you hold your breath and you go.
Yeah. Pray it all across.
And prayed all across.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when you got to the other side?
I was like, oh, I did it. And then I was like, that was pretty cool. Just kind of flying through the air, knowing that you're safe, and you got to the other side. And then when you got to the other side, the guide was there. So you had a guide behind you, a guide there meeting you, and it was just like, okay, now it's time to kind of enjoy this. Okay. And so that was like kind of the next step for me, was to, okay, let's enjoy this. And so that was fun.
And that is so key, because how many things in life, how many things in business, and if you're relating to this, let us know, and just, if you can relate, type relate in the comments section. But how often we're riddled with fear, we talk ourselves through a process, we go through and we emerge like, I feel 10 feet tall and bulletproof. This was kind of fun. I can do this, right? And now you're like, woo, I can do this. And I want to highlight this. Oftentimes people go, oh, that wasn't so hard. And they dismiss what they just overcame, right? And I want to say to everyone listening, do not minimize you stepping past your fear, because until you do it, it's not an easy thing to do, because so many people would have been sitting on the sidelines. So you get past it. Now you're like, whoa, this is fun. I'm going to go have fun. So do you actually allow yourself to have fun?
I did after that. What I thought was really cool was when we got to the next one. At that point, I'm like, okay, because I think I may have had my eyes closed on the first one, so I didn't see anything. So after I got across, I was like, okay, that wasn't that bad. So the next one, I'm like, okay, let me take a look at my surroundings. So I look up, and there's this beautiful blue sky, and it was a perfect day.
Mm.
Well, all the days they were perfect, but anyway, but it was a perfect day for ziplining. And you look below, and there's this lush green jungle, and it's just so beautiful. And it's just like, wow, God created all of this, and I'm like in the thick of it. And so that's when I started really enjoying the process of the ziplining.
Uh-huh.
So we're on the second one. We get to the second one, and we've got to rappel down. It was the second or third? No, it was the second one. We had to rappel down a tree. So in my head, please forgive me, but in my head, I'm like, I had the Spider-Man theme, because I'm rappelling down. Just I'm like, da, 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 and I get to, I'm like, dang, that was too short, because I was like, I hadn't got all the way through the song. So I was really enjoying the process, but I was also looking at like, if I tell the story to anybody that really truly knows me, especially my family, they'd be like,
You
"She
did
can't do
what?
that."
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of like it was very liberating to
I love
confront
I love it.
a supposed fear and get past it. It was so
And,
liberating.
and one of the reasons I love to do these exercises is I truly believe that when we get back to our childlike self, the part of us that loves to play, the
Mm-hmm.
part of us that loves to like wild abandonment, the part of us that loves to jump and skip and do that stuff, we actually, it helps us expand our comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now you're singing your Spider-Man song, you're
Mm-hmm.
doing things. And for those of you who are listening, and I saw Mary just joined us, and Mary's like, I'm coming next year. That retreat's not happening without me. So one of the things for those of you listening, this is not a regular zip lining course.
No.
I look for fun stuff. So we zip lined. You got the Spider-Man, you got the pole like the fireman, you got the stairs in the air. So you guys are doing all sorts of things, and you're now in joy, and that's so key to talk about, because one of the biggest regrets I think people have in life is all the times they were stopped by fear,
Mm-hmm.
all the times they were stopped by what's the conversation that's running them in the back of their mind, that limiting conversation, and then they get to places where they live in regret, right? And so I want to really just take my hat off to you for not being stopped by the stairs, and stepping past your fear and actually being able to play and have fun. So you're having a great time.
Having a great time. It was fun. I believe the hardest part was those stairs that were like in the middle of,
Up
it's
there.
like two ropes, and then it's kind of plats of wood, and you're walking up. That was the hardest part, because you're having to push. If you lose momentum, it's a wrap. I know we will collectively say, well, we're standing there and we're waiting for everybody to come over and be on the platform so we can go to the next. Because what they did was each individual person went over, you waited till everybody got there, and then you went to the next step. So
Right.
we're sitting there, and we see the stairs going this way, and then we see two ropes.
The type
Well,
of
actually, four sets of ropes, two cables up, two at the bottom, and then ropes in between going to, and we're all like seriously like, we really hope we're not doing that. And Cindy was like, yeah, we really, no, we don't want to do that. And then she explained her experience from before. We're like, yeah, we really hope. And when they said we're going to the stairs, we're like, yes. Till we
and
got them.
the tightrope is way easier than the stairs. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, that we figured that out. Yeah, if you lose momentum, it's a wrap.
And again, there's
Again, that's
so many metaphors, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And I think the one thing I learned, because the guide kept telling us, keep keep pushing forward, keep pushing forward. And he goes, if you don't do that, you'll get stuck, and it's harder to keep going. And I think, in business, I think we all have those challenges where we come against something, it's a little difficult, and we're like, you know what, it's just easier to stay here. I'm safe, it's good. But the thing is that if you lose momentum moving forward, it is so much harder to start all the way over and begin
mhm.
again. So you just got to keep pressing through, even if it's baby steps or an inch at a time. You still have to keep pressing forward.
Yeah, and you know, you hear that, you lean into faith, lean
Yes.
into what you're doing, you know, lean in. And
Mm-hmm.
truly, I love those stairs, because if you don't lean in, you really do
You're
get
not gonna
stuck.
make it.
And it's such a great metaphor for life and business. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if we're consistently moving and we got that rhythm and that momentum going, we can keep things moving. But there's times where we throw up our hands, we give up, we have those conversations, and it gets stopped. And how hard was it to get going
It was
when
it was it was difficult. I mean, I didn't stop completely, but I slowed down, and I kept hearing the guide say, Carlos was like, keep going, keep leaning, lean, and keep moving forward. And so after that, I was like, And then Cindy comes behind and she's done. I was like, if I'd known we should have ran, that would
now
have been a lot easier.
Now she had the privilege of, this is her second year, and we
Mhm.
did it like 5 years ago. So she had, and that's the other thing, the gift of having faced your fear once. And she was nervous, but she had the experience of doing it once. So I'm just gonna see. There's Julie Rogers watching. Taria, of course, is watching. There's Mary. There's Lisa Dawn. Welcome, Lisa. Cassandra is on. And oh, I got some comments. And Tria saying, yes, that's such a great metaphor for business. And that no matter how tough things get in business, don't stop, keep moving.
Mhm.
And Tria was one of your partners in crime in this process. She was one of your zipline buddies, right?
Mhm. And
And
actually, that quote was her quote. Okay, let's go ziplining, we said. I was just like,
oh, you're getting loves and thumbs up. So how many of you, and just, you know, be candid in the comments section, have know what it's like to stop, throw your hands up, and the pain of getting something going again. I know I faced it, and you know, and part of you goes, why did I stop? Why did
exactly.
I stop? Because now you gotta get in back into the habit of doing things. You gotta recreate the momentum. You gotta sometimes recreate the muscle memory. You gotta do all those things. But when you're in it, it's so easy to keep going. So, and the reason I'm doing this call is for everyone to really get that it's all here, right? And you were talking to yourself the
The
whole time,
whole time,
right?
the
And
entire time.
and what's beautiful is you were having conversations that were moving you forward, conversations that were self-coaching you past the fear so you could keep moving. How often do we have the conversations that have us stop and we totally lose momentum? So really get present to the conversations that are happening in your head.
Yeah, negative talk will stop your forward momentum quicker than anything. And
Absolutely.
I truly believe that and I think it's also with who you surround yourself. Like if I had been on this probably 2 years ago, it might have been a whole different ball game. I might not even gone ziplining.
Mm.
But I think the circle that I have around me now, those are the ones that are pushing me outside my comfort zone, and they're not going to allow me to just settle. And that is the one thing that I'm like, okay, I'm placed on this earth. I've been given a purpose. Settling is not an option.
No.
So I've got to face whatever comes my way and keep moving forward. And what I've always known is that as I continue to move forward toward my purpose, God always provides something as a kind of I got you. I had another one today. It was just blew my mind. Um, but it's always that I call them like God winks, like
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's what happens when you continue to move forward in your purpose, in your business, is that if you're on the right track, you will get all the cosigns that you need to continue to move forward. There are days it's just like, oh, I don't feel like it today. And I was like, okay, let me do one thing to move it forward. And
Ah,
so you do that. And when you do that, I believe, some people say God, some people say the universe. I think you're rewarded by your moving forward in the direction you're supposed to continue.
right. Well, and you know, it's that action, and I love you. I love that what you're saying is that, let's do one thing. And do you realize, or do you notice that that one thing calls another thing?
Mm-hmm.
And then it calls another thing. And that is, and for me, I always remind myself, particularly when I'm stuck in fear, is I remind myself, how's none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just handle what's in front of me, and trust that by handling what's in front of me, my next step will be revealed.
Absolutely.
And I just that's how I do. You said that, but the other beautiful thing you said, and I see you got partners that showed up today, right? Colette's watching, Lethia's watching, your circle showed up. Now, this is the other thing you said that's so beautiful, is there are days where I can't talk myself out of my negative conversation. I am caught in fear. I am caught in all sorts of stuff that I know does not serve me. And when I surround myself, so I can give a call to you, I can give a call to Lethia, I can give a call to Cindy, and all of you I trust will love on me, one,
Mm-hmm.
give me an opportunity to vent, two, and then go, okay, enough. What? And
We gonna do now.
What we gonna do now? And you'll help me problem solve. And I think the other thing about the group that we're talking about, the people that we both surround ourselves with, is they will remind us, you and I, of our greatness.
Yes,
And
absolutely. Because sometimes when you're in your business stuff, you can't, and you get bogged down in it, and then especially when the negative self-talk starts, you miss and forget who you were designed to be, and whose you are. And so when you circle around yourself by people that see the greatness in you, then they remind you on a daily basis sometimes, hey, stop that negative talk. You're good enough. You can do this. You're built for this.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have people around you like that, shift your circle.
Yeah, that's like, and shift it like this,
Quick,
right? Like now, absolutely.
Yeah. And even if it's family, love them. And my favorite term I've heard somebody else use is love them from afar.
That's right. Love them from a distance.
I can still love you, but you can't. I need positive, surrounding at all times.
Yeah, and so it's so key, and I love the fact that you're sharing. Environment is so important. So here you are. So you're having fun. The girl who's afraid of heights,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't do this. You have met Dawn, the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And the little girl is like got Spider-Man and
having a ball.
You got your webs.
Yeah, like I'm like seeing all this beauty. I mean, it was just breathtaking.
I love it. I love it. And and it's such a great example, because I know every time I step into my fear, I get a gift. And I cannot, and then usually I can't imagine what the gift is. It's always always more brilliant, magnificent than I expected. And it shows up in ways often that I could not have anticipated. So here you are, you're having a wonderful time. Treetops over the jungle playing.
Beautiful.
So what happens?
Then we get to zipline number 5. Now there's 8 in this course, but we get to number 5. And our guide, now we're on like a 6 by 6 foot platform. And at that point I asked, how many more do we have left? He said, oh, just 3 more after this. I said, okay. And he gets up there and he claps the line. And basically you've got, if you've never been ziplining, there's 2 cables that I learned can hold 5,000 pounds each. And since I'm way below that, I felt okay. But there are 2 cables and they're about maybe 6 inches apart. And that's what you attach the pulley on to go across. And he claps the thing. And I hadn't seen him do this at the other ones, but everybody said he had done it. He claps it and the vibration comes right back on the bottom line. And I was like, okay, we're good. And he does it again. Then he does it a 3rd time. At this point, I'm like, okay, something's not right. And I don't know what it is, but So I'm not. I'm. There's a little concern, but I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm sure they'll know. So then we're like, well, what's going on? He goes, a tree fell and it fell on the line, so we can't get across.
Ooh.
And I was like, surely something like this has happened before. They're going to be able to figure it out. No problem. So he goes down, and later we find out that this is the longest zip line on the trail.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1,050 feet. If you do the math, that's 3 football fields. Three. Um,
Wow.
so that's a lot. So when you put all that in your head, of course I did this after I got home, and I'm sitting down one day. I'm like 1,050 divided by and I was like, that's 3 football fields. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize. And so he goes down, and this is about a third of the way over that this tree has fallen on it, and the tree is like white. So you're like, okay, tree's dead. And they
Mm.
had a kind of a light storm come through, but it was very windy the night before, so we think that's what. And they didn't have zip lining. They have like a 10 o'clock, and I think a 1 and a 2:30 or 3, something like that, or 4. And so they didn't have any 10, so that's why they didn't see that this was happening. And mind you, we are
Now
in the middle of the jungle. We are in the
this
middle
milk for
of
you
this
guys.
trail, and this tree is on the line. So he goes down and tries to get it off. So we're all on the platform. We're double connected to all these things, so we're super safe. Even if we tried to fall, if we couldn't, there wasn't enough rope for even us to hang off the edge. So we're pretty safe.
And I love that you're saying this. So
Yeah.
you're super safe.
I know I'm super safe. I'm on a platform. The weather's perfect. Um, and we're like, okay, we're going to be okay. So he goes down. He tries to lift the tree off, thinking he's strong enough to do that. He is not.
Hmm.
And so now he can't go forward. So he has to come back. Now, if you know anything about zipline and the way they're designed, is that you have to, they're designed to go one way. If you go the opposite way, you're going against whatever the coefficients they put together. So you have to pull yourself, and it's your entire body weight.
Yeah.
And it's all upper body.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
now Carlos, great guy, was in amazing shape, I'm sure. And he went a little bit and then stopped. So now he went a third of the way down. He's coming about a third of the way back, had to stop. And we're trying to figure out, like, why is he stopping? Then he tried again, made about maybe it seemed like it was forever, but I'm sure it was only maybe 10 or 15 minutes of wait time. Then he went another port, and then he couldn't go anymore. So then the other guy that was with us went down and got him, attached himself, and then pulled back.
Oh man.
And he was able to get about maybe 5 feet away from where we were, maybe a little bit closer. And he couldn't do it anymore. So mind you, this guy who's smaller and thinner than Carlos is attached himself, and they pulled back, and now they can't get back to the platform. So these are our two guides. So Anthony Penn, who is one of the attendees on the retreat, former 30-year firefighter. So he and the whole time everything's going, he is. What was so amazing, I think this helped, at least gave me peace, is I'm with somebody who his job is safety. That's who he is. That's just that's it. So he's
the DNA right now, right?
and so he's sharing this information, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm with Anthony. I'm good. I mean, he's not gonna let nothing happen to any of us. I'm good. And so he reached out and was able to pull them in and got them back to the platform. Carlos, typically they're now on the walkie-talkie trying to get to somebody at the headquarters. So I'm, hey, this is going on, and in the meantime, Carlos is like, he gets on his cell phone. He says he never brings his cell phone, but something told him to bring it today. Now, mind you, this is Sunday. So it's not like regular work day, everybody's in. That was not the case. So over the course of the next 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours that we were on this platform.
There's laughter now.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it light. One of our team members was not a happy camper because she really didn't want to go in the first place, and we kind of bullied her into going. And now she's looking like, see what y'all done got me in. And so she kind of shuts down, and we understand that because, fear does present itself in different ways. And unless you really, really know somebody, you don't know how to help walk them through that. But so we're sitting there, and the mother and daughter, they're just sitting there. It's very carefree. We're learning about each other. We learn, that, Maria, it's Maria and Maria Ella. Maria Ella was the mother.
Tria's just posted, that would be me.
Yes. And Maria, we found out Maria had broke her knee and had to have all the surgery. So we're learning all deep personal stuff because we have nothing else to do but talk.
Now, I love this. I want to stop you for a second because here you are, you started fear. You ziplined, found your younger self, having fun. Now a tree falls on. And what I love about it is you've got experience now, right, of this thing. So you're not back to where you started, because some people would go back.
Right.
Right. You're like, I'm good. I've assessed. We're harnessed in. I've trusted it. I tested. I know my guides. I've got Mr. Penn with me. So you don't go back to the place of fear that you started. I'm asking. Because you're not describing it like that.
I honestly, after the 3.5 hours before we got to go through, when they got everything down, it popped back up again.
Okay. I really want to get this because I really want everyone to get that fear doesn't just, sometimes people think, oh, I'm over it, fear's gone away, right? But that's not often the case. Sometimes it'll pop back up because things escalate, it pops up, and then you've got to manage it again. So are you, while you're on the platform, looking like you're having a great time, kicking back, are you in the management conversation of self-coaching the whole time?
I was not then.
Okay. When did it happen?
It started after, and I'll have to tell a little bit so people get the understanding of the entire process. They ended up having to have somebody come with a machete to cut down the tree. And the base of the tree was about the size of a man's torso. So it's a pretty big tree. Well, then the tree fell, but it fell back on the line. So, and I think this is the point where I called you, said, I may have messaged you first. Yeah, I think I messaged you first.
You messaged me. Now I gotta say, so I'm the person who has set up this experience, right? So I have to tell you, I get the phone call or the text, a tree has fallen on the thing. We're okay, but a tree has fallen. So now I've got to manage my self-talk, right? And so I'm like, I'm reading it again. I'm like, right? And so, and the reason we're sharing this is really for everyone to get this process, because this is life and this is business. Now, I'm like, so I text you and I go, oh, everyone okay? And you're like, everyone's cool. And I'm like, I can't text what I'm feeling. I can't even text what I'm thinking. I'm texting, okay, cool. And I get off and I'm like, oh my gosh. And this is the other part of it, is that you realize I can't help you. I realize I can't help you. So for me, I tell myself, worry is not useful right now, Suzanne. I want you guys to hear this. No. Worry is not useful, and fear is actually not useful. So this is how Suzanne manages things. I go, ooh, God is creating a big lesson.
Did he? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, he did.
Because the way, and I want people to really see this, the way I manage my self-talk is I tell myself a new story. So I'm like, God's got this. He's created a new lesson. This is going to be big. Oh my gosh. And then I look at Lisa and I share it and she goes, oh, God's got this. And somehow she knows what I'm thinking, and she goes, and there's a reason we're not there. And I'm like, thank you, because in my head, I'm like, I should have been there. But truly, the process would not have been as powerful for all of you if I had been there. So it was absolutely perfect. But I had to even talk myself out of my own conversation. And I'm not there, but I'm feeling responsible. And so I really, for me, it was like, okay, let go, surrender, give up worry, give up fear, and trust.
Yeah. So it was an experience. What I took away while you're sitting up there for 6 or 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and our joke is
Trust me,
we
I know.
were 6 miles ab- above the area when actually I learned that 3 miles that puts you in the atmosphere, and like, yeah, so we know it wasn't 6 miles. But we were about 175 miles up in the air.
Deep,
There was
deep.
only one branch of trees, like one other branch above where we were sitting, and then it was nothing but blue skies, beautiful blue skies. Then when you look around and down, all you saw was green. You couldn't even see like the base of the jungle, nothing. It was just green as far down as you could see. And so it was like, okay. Then there was these ants that were crawling on the tree that I said they were inch long, maybe a half inch, but they were big black ants with yellow stripe, little yellow markings on them.
You're in the jungle.
Yeah, we're in the jungle. And then there was these little bees, like kind of sweat bees, that type of size, flying around. And what, for me, the only challenge, I didn't have a challenge with, for the length of time we were up there, I was not hungry. I was not thirsty. My biological functions didn't like say, hey, it's time. And I don't know, I think that was nothing but God.
That's actually that's a fear response, actually, I believe.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Because
Okay.
your body's like, we just gonna focus here.
Right.
Mm.
And I'm diabetic, so I have to keep, sugar levels at a certain level. So I'm just kind of like, I was like, that was strange because we were gone probably what, 5 hours total?
Mm-hmm.
We
Yep.
missed lunch. So it was just, but the whole time once we got up there and you're stopped and you have nothing to do but for 2.5 hours to sit on this 6x6 platform with only one person that you knew before you got there in your entire life, and you're sitting there and it just makes you take assessment of what is going on.
Mm.
And what I heard and took away clearly was the three of me need to get to one of me,
I love
and
it.
I need to stop and slow down.
Mm-hmm.
um Anybody that knows me really really well knows that I move at like 300 miles an hour. I do make sure. No, that would be a lie. I was gonna say I take care of myself. I wasn't taking care of myself and taking the necessary care of myself prior to this trip.
I love
What
it.
would happen is I would burn out, and that's when I would make myself take a vacation, because I'm famous for taking a vacation by myself, go someplace for 48 hours, 72 hours, completely by myself, where I know absolutely nobody, and then just sit on a beach and chill and
Yeah.
just completely. And so I know I would always get to the point of exhaustion, and definitely serving from an empty cup to make sure everybody else was covered. And then when I got to depletion, that's when I would go take my rest. I
So
had
it was
learned that.
was it the stopping and having and just being called or forced to sit still? That
I was forced to sit because you couldn't go anywhere. Because
Mhm.
we even said, well, can we go backwards? And that's when I learned about the tension and the way zip lines are designed to go in one direction. Because it's like, we go up, it's going to be harder than if we just wait. Oh, okay. So then when they cut the tree and it fell back on the line, then the gentleman, Joel, remember his name. He's my new best friend. He went all the way to the beginning of the zip line, came 5 zip lines to us, and then we had to figure out how to attach the machete to him so it wouldn't drop while he's flying out there, which is, that alone was a whole bunch of, it was MacGyver in its best sense. We took one of Cindy's hair ties, we used one of Maria Ella's earrings to get it through, and we rigged it up and attached it to him so it wouldn't fall off.
I got laughter. I got laughter.
So then we get down, he gets down there, he's able to cut the tree down, and it falls, and now the line is free for us to go through. He comes back. I don't even remember how that happened. It kind of just all happened really fast. Mm-hmm. And now we're ready everybody to progress. So what Carlos did was he attached him, because one of our team members was having some severe anxiety about it, mm-hmm. about the whole process and being sitting there in the whole 9 yards. So he attached himself to her and went over with her. And I was like, that was good. She needed that.
Okay.
So as everybody else is going, we're not going in the same order we were going, and everything is fine. Now, in the meantime, while we're sitting there, I had time to see how beautiful the sky was. Had a chance to, in the process, look at all the green foliage, and there was this one tree that was way far away, and then over the course of 2 hours it moved closer to us. I don't know how that works, but it did. I don't know if that was just the wind. It had these big, huge, beautiful green elephant leaves. It was just beautiful, and I'm just like, wow, this has all been created for us to just, if we just stop, slow down, take a look,
smell the roses.
And so that's what we did. So at this point, fear's back here. And I think it was, we sat too long. This is the longest zip line there is. It's 1,050 feet. And I think that crept back in. And I'm a person, if I'm fearful of something, I will talk through it and keep talking and talking and talking. Just because that is a big, it's scared. So what I thought was interesting, Carlos must have picked up on that. And so when everybody else went over, he told Joelle to come over with me.
Mm-hmm.
So he attached himself to me, and then we went over. And I was like, I don't know what vibes I put out or what energy I put out, because I didn't think I was putting out the scared vibes. But that gave me that secure. So I was like, okay. And then after that, I was good for the last 3. And then when we did the last 3, it was downhill from there. It just really was. So it was a lot easier.
And you said such great things in there. And for anyone who's watching, and if you want to work through this, one of the things that we do is we give a mastermind moment out, and you can, if you put mastermind in the comment section, you can book a session, and we'll talk through the fear stuff, right? But one of the things that you said was, so the word is mastermind, is that you stop too long. And again, we talked about it earlier. When we stop, it's almost like we atrophy, really.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to get going, and you go back through all those emotions again.
Exactly.
Till you get going. And I love the fact that you're giving people insight. So you started self-coaching. You started talking yourself through, self-coaching, talking yourself through, and you get through. And once you get into action, you're good.
Yeah, you're good.
You're good. This is so great as far as business, life, so many things. So what has been, so one of your takeaways is that Don 1, 2, and 3 need to become Don 1.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to slow down to speed up, in other words. And
absolutely. And that is the model for this year.
We heard, Taria, type that in. Dawn's going to slow down to speed up. So we'll have it.
Oh, dang. Now you're going to have it on paper?
Right. Right. No, all Facebook. Dawn's going to slow down. Right. So you're really kind of taking time to enjoy the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than having the journey be a blur.
Right.
So first learn. What else have you learned in terms of your business as you've gotten off the platform? Because I know that every single person that came down and when we debriefed, there was learn after learn after learn. What was yours apart from you really need to take time to slow down and enjoy the journey?
I know that I need to set a day because I'm the type of person, now that I'm full time in my business, because I wasn't until 6 months ago. Now I'm full time. I am the type of person, again, I will serve out of an empty cup.
Mm,
And so now I am challenged to, I need to find to replenish on a regular basis,
I love
not wait until my vacation twice a year or once a quarter. I can't do that anymore. So I have designated one day a week that I do absolutely no business.
I love it. And
And it's been kind of liberating. It's been very difficult because I'll find myself like I get on the computer or I'm on the phone
start,
fixing stuff
you
or
start to
whatever.
twitch a little bit.
Yeah, it's I don't say to, but I mean there's things I'm just like, okay, and I was like, okay, I gotta stop. And so I've stopped. I blocked it where clients cannot book on that day at all.
Mm,
And that has been probably, that's been the most liberating for me. This will be week 3. Tomorrow will be week 3 of nothing on Friday. Now I'll go to lunch with a friend. And, and I'm in the process of actually training for a half marathon.
mm.
So, I'll get my training in, but this will be on my Fridays will be the days that I make the time to, I am notorious for not being able to go get, the mani-pedi done that I like to get. So the little treatment stuff, or just taking a woosah, or taking a nice long walk, or those type of things. I'm notorious for that. And so that has come to a screeching halt.
I love it.
That's the one thing I took away.
And I know for myself, I have learned that if I don't stop myself, I will be stopped.
Right.
Right? Something will stop me.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes it stops me in a way I don't want to be stopped.
Right.
Right. And
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 that
uh,
that happened to me back in October.
right.
We did the conference and the retreat right after. My body was like,
We
"This is
done.
not good."
Yeah. And so how has your Friday off impacted your productivity? Because oftentimes those people that are the drivers, and I see Pauline smiling, watching, welcome Pauline. And Pauline had her zipline story because Pauline she was one of my first, and it totally transformed her business. I have had the joy of watching how she came out of that and who she's being in the world as a result of this transformation for herself. How have you how has it affected you? Because oftentimes when people don't take the time off, they're like, I don't have time, I'm too busy, you don't understand. So now you're taking the day. What's showing up for you in your business?
Well, a lot of things I took away from the retreat itself, but from that taking off Fridays, that's time for me to nurture me, do something fun I want to do. And I've always loved to read, but really haven't had the time. And what I do, if I pick up a book on Friday, it's a fun book. It's not business related. It's
Ah,
not self-improvement related. It's more than likely some type of legal thriller, murder mystery, because that's the type of stuff I love to read.
I love
So
it.
that's the one thing I'm doing, and I'm really enjoying just getting back into the reading because I used to read voraciously, when I was younger and in college. But then you start working, and life happens, and you don't get around to it. The other thing is that I am actually getting so much rest. I used to be the queen when there was 3 of me. We'd be up till 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning working, and then turn around starting the day at 6 or 5:30.
And
And your body can't function optimally on that little amount of sleep week after week after week after
yeah,
week. I
yeah.
am pretty much shutting down by 10 o'clock at night, even if I've actually been shutting down from a business standpoint by 8. Like I've booked, like my calendar now shuts off at 7 o'clock. You can't book anything after 7.
Who are you?
And I don't start before 9:30.
Who are you?
I don't know. It's been a shift, and what I do is I get it done. And what's been amazing is that when you make sure you take care of yourself first, then other people will treat you that way. So it's basically, I'm teaching people how to treat me. So if I am only available during these times, all of my clients that have been booking appointments have not come back. There's nothing available. I really need, they're all booking within the time that I've allotted. And it was a big tell for me because as I'm ramping up and getting busier, the reason why, I'm in the community that I am in is because the founder of the community, the first thing I heard her say is, there are divine clients that are designed to work for you or with you. And they're going to be your clients regardless. So since I've adopted that and I understand that, who's supposed to work with me will work with me. And if they're going to work with me, then they're also going to understand that if there's certain parameters that I need to have, then they'll abide by those parameters because they desire to be one of my partners.
I love it.
That's one of the things that there are so many takeaways from this trip, but that ziplining incident, that
was for you.
It's going to be a book. I already said it. Lessons from the Treetops. It's going to be a book. I already said that. And I've already got the outline started in. So it was a life-changing experience for me. And I didn't even think it would be until after I came back and really unpacked it.
Yeah.
And still am unpacking it, to be honest.
Absolutely. And one of the things I truly believe, and I say it often, is that we don't know our greatness. We only have a glimpse of what we're capable of.
I would agree.
And it is in those moments when we have to step past fear and face something that our next best self shows up. Right? And so for all you that are listening, when you back away from fear and allow your mind to have those conversations that take you out of the game, the opportunity that you're missing is the opportunity to meet your next best you. Your next best you, the bolder you, the stronger you, the more courageous you. And Taria said her learn was to allow herself to be vulnerable and to create connections that give her the help she needs, right? But that would not have been available to her until she went on this journey, right? And so I think situations are put in our path for us to learn. And I know for me, I walked away trusting the process, my process. Because in the middle there, I was like, "Ooh, who wrote this? Who wrote this?" Oh, I did, right? And I walked away going, I have to surrender to the process. And I wasn't meant to be there. And because the lesson wouldn't have occurred the way it's supposed to. Everything is always perfect if we just go with what is presented to us. We are at the top of the hour. Dawn, you gifted to everyone listening. And thank you for being candid and vulnerable and honest and also just trusting the process there and allowing me to just pick your brain about it. For everyone watching, I have been interviewing Dawn Jones. Dawn, how can people connect with you to get a glimpse of your brilliance? And I'll tell everyone, I get to partner and collaborate and work with Dawn. This is a bright, brilliant, caring, loving sister with a big heart of service. And so much capacity. We didn't even touch that. That'll be another interview.
Well, thank you so much for the just the kind words. I appreciate that more than you realize. I am on all social media under my business name which is the number 2, the number 9, the word 11 media. So it's 2911 media. So you can get through the business name on Facebook. I'm on as Dawn Jordan Jones. There's actually two John Jordans. I have a actually page, like a fan page, and then a regular page, a personal page. There is another Dawn Jordan Jones, but she is in Wisconsin, and I'm in Indianapolis. So,
and look at her. Look at the sis, right?
Yeah. So, it's just this trip has done wonders for me in so many ways. So it's just, I'm grateful for the experience. So.
I'm so glad you said yes, and on so many levels, and I'm excited to see what unfolds over the year, because as I said, you brilliant already. I'm excited and afraid, as to what will evolve. So I know you have a gift for everyone. Mm-hmm. So this is what I want everyone to do. Mastermind is the word. So type mastermind in the comment section. That will give you an opportunity. We'll know that you're interested in Dawn's gift. It'll also give you an opportunity to have access to our mastermind moment with Suzanne, and we'll make sure you get totally hooked up. And I know Dawn's gift's going to be brilliant. You're going to get a glimpse into her brilliance, and it'll give you an opportunity. And I want to highlight for people. Advertising and sales marketing, 30 years. Branding, marketing, web and graphics, 30 years. Sam's Clubs, Pepsi, State Farm. I'm not going to say more.
I have been blessed, absolutely.
So, Dawn, I love you. I cherish you. You are definitely a sister to me. And will you come back?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime you need me, just let me know. And I love you too. And thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, my pleasure. Because I'm going to come back. We're going to be talking about branding, marketing, advertising. Yes, we're going to be talking about those things.
We can talk about them.
Yeah. So everyone, I have been sitting down with Dawn Jones. This is Suzanne Hart. Mastermind in the comments section to stay connected. We will be back here next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, join us. We're going to have a fun time. Dawn, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Take care.
Good night.